What's going on, everybody? FYB presents Wise Word Wednesdays, a quick live stream to help you get closer to accomplishing your dreams. I'm your host, Joe Spida, and I do represent the fresh. I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody who took time out of their day to to check us out, man. We really appreciate it. I hope you hit that like button. I hope you hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It really helps with the algorithms. I hope you share this, with anybody that you love or appreciate or just want to accomplish their dreams. So I'm excited to have you. Today we have a special episode that I'm really juiced about having. But I do want to offer this quick moment. Right now, StreamYard is having some issues live streaming to Instagram Live. So I know there's a couple folks who typically watch via Instagram Live, but it's not showing up right now because I guess they're having some technical difficulties with the Instagram. But don't even worry about it. You can come on over here to YouTube and watch it. You'll be straight. But I do have a special guest that I want to bring up. This individual is extremely talented, like super talented, and I've known him for about a year now, and just dope watching him excel and continue to grow and develop in his talents. I mean, this man has been traveling and utilizing his gifts, but he's also dope. I don't know if everybody knows this. I mean, he's super talented in regards to his musical gifts, but he's also a dope speaker. You know what I mean? Like I've been doing my research, you know what I'm saying, and paying attention. And he is a really amazing speaker and has a great story. And I couldn't wait to get him on. We talked about this a couple of months ago. We was like, hey, we gonna get you all. We gonna get you all. He's like, for sure. Well, let me know whenever I'm ready. And so once I finally had an opportunity to get him on, he was juiced about it and ready to go. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to the stage, welcome to the show, my guy, LxttleBoyBlue. What's going on?
What's up, homie, man? How you been?
I'm solid, bro. I appreciate you for joining us this evening. How's life treating you?
Life is good, man. I can't complain. I'm just grateful to be on the show, grateful to be a part of this platform.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thankful to have you, man. So first off, let me just start off with this because not, many people, I'm not gonna say not many people know you because you're definitely well known, but what I will say is not many people understand where LxttleBoyBlue came from. So let's go a little bit into your upbringing, where you originally from, you know what I mean? And I know you be traveling and I know you got some ties in different areas, but talk about where you from and the impact that had on who you are today.
So I was born and raised in East Oakland, California. Spent a little bit of time there, like born and raised there. My mom is from the Bay Area. She grew up in San Francisco. But then when I was like 8 years old, I moved to Inglewood, and that definitely shaped me to who I am today. I moved around a lot as a kid, like just family members, just a lot of like family things that happened, just moving around the economy at the time, 2008, the market crashed. So we were just really just trying to find our footing, and moving around a lot definitely introduced me to one, just being the new kid on campus all the time. So having to reintroduce myself everywhere I went. But my mama, her biggest thing was like, don't be making no fool of our last name. You know what I'm saying? So like she always used to like stress on us the importance of like when we step outside the house, we're a reflection of the household. So she was like, pull your pants up. I make sure your elbows ain't ashy. You know what I'm saying? Get the crust out your eyes. She would definitely do one of them spit wipes before we got out the car, and Vaseline. Like she was just really big on that. So everywhere I went, like I was always at a new school and just reintroducing myself. But the thing that really made me, I guess, likable and relatable was just music, right? But when I moved from Oakland to Inglewood, one of my neighbors, he gave me a portable CD player and a portable radio. And so, when we would go on these road trips, what I'm saying, we would stay with family in the Bay, we would stay with family in, Bakersfield, in Central California, Fresno, all over California. But what we would do is my mom would have me, those big old CD books. She'd make me flip through them. She make me flip
You
through
dating
them.
yourself a little bit, though. I'm gonna tell you now, you dating yourself by talking about the portable CD players, the CD books. Yeah, you dating yourself, but all right.
But she'd make me like pick those out for the road trip. And so I would pick those just based off of like the album cover, or like I knew certain songs. And so that just gave me a lot of backing. Now, as far as my name, it's a very, very deep structured story. I can't go into too much depth of it, but basically, so my grandmother, my mom's mom, her name was Violet, and she had a
Shout
unique
out
gift.
Violet. Shout out Violet.
Shout out Grandma Violet. Yeah, she had a unique gift of she could look at you and she could tell you your whole life story. She could look at you and be like, "Oh, you good with your hands. You're gonna own a construction company." But you'll be like, "Bro, what? Like, I'm a school teacher." But then, like,
Mm.
next thing you know, years go down the road, you have a unique gift for construction and you have a multi-million-dollar construction business. So she would do this, and
We
so
call that prophesying in the church. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
so
That's,
she
yeah,
had a
yeah. She's
really
a
big gift
prophet.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I guess she had this dream. She had this vision. She was like, she told my mom, she was like, you gonna have a kid like when you way older. And my mom was like, bro, no, I have all these kids. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, you're gonna have a kid when you're older. Like, he's gonna come from the heavens by the time he's 25, the world gonna know who he is, and it's gonna bring blessings like to our family. Like, he's gonna bring generational wealth. And my
Mm.
mom was like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And so at the time she had this prophecy. She was actually in Guyana, and she was following somebody by the name of Jim Jones. If you don't know about Jim Jones, he was this big cult leader throughout
Yeah,
the
the
Bay Area.
pastor. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he just brainwashed and misled a lot of people. And my grandmother was part of that church, and she passed away in a mass suicide
Wow.
of everything. And so
Really?
she couldn't give my mom all the details of the dream. All
Bro,
right.
what's crazy is like that was the largest mass suicide in history.
Yep.
Like that was, I believe, it was like 900 people that passed away. Wow, your grandma was a part of
My
that.
grandma was a part of that. Miss Violet,
Wow.
Violet Dillard. You can look that up. And I didn't get information about this till I was way, way older. But then when I did my research, I'll get into that later at UC Davis. I did my own research on myself and just finding out the genealogy of that. So fast forward, um, my mom, she obviously, she went through things, and that letter like radicalized her in a sense, because she started, doing city and government stuff and socializing with other people. So she, started doing civil rights movement. Then that led her to work with the Black Panther Party. And so she did protests, and she worked with Huey P. Newton. She worked with Jesse Jackson, and then that radicalized her even more to do more work within the city of Oakland, and just social issues, just the infrastructure of what politics and what social issues that really just radicalized her. And then in the late 90s, she was just obviously moving around a lot and just trying to find her footing. That got her more into the music realm of things, and she worked with MC Hammer. She walked Tupac down to the library hall to show him how to, like, meet up with this poetry slam. So she's been really involved in history. But it wasn't
Yeah.
until like the late 90s, the late 90s, when I kind of came around. She was kind of going into, from her Black Panther Party movement, she kind of resolved into childcare. So she had a daycare.
Okay.
And so this is where my story kind of comes in. My biological mom, her name is Jasmine. She had me when she was 21 years old. And my dad wasn't really in the picture a lot. And so what ended up happening was, um, she had me, and she named me after my dad. And my dad's name was Jesse. And so, but nobody ever called me that, which was really interesting. Nobody ever called me that. My biological mom, Jasmine, she would always call me Baby Blue.
Mm.
So she was pregnant with triplets, and I was the only one that survived. And
Wow.
so she had a hard time, obviously, taking care of me, because she was trying to go back to school, finish her education and everything. So she found this daycare flyer at Safeway, and she ended up in Oakland, and she dropped me off at this lady, Miss Williams' house, which was, now my mom. And so
Hmm.
she said, I'm about to have surgery. My mom, Jasmine, said, I'm about to have surgery um, on Saturday. Can you take care of my son? I swear, I'm gonna drop him off Friday. I'm gonna have surgery on Sunday. I'm gonna come pick him up on Sunday. And so she had surgery, but she had passed away on the surgery table. And
Wow.
so my daycare provider, she said, like, nobody's taking care of this kid. I don't know nothing about this kid. His family don't want nothing to do with him. I might as well just take him. So she later adopted me. And they had asked me, like, they had asked her in the court. They said, like, what are you gonna name him? Because obviously, like, he has his dad's name, but his dad's not in the picture. And then she found records and said that, my name was Baby Blue. And so she was kind of confused and off put by that. And then when she did some more research, she found out that my biological mom, her grandma's name was Violet. No relation, no
Mm.
nothing. So it was just crazy how that theory just kind of came to truth. And so it was just crazy how all that had happened. And when doing the whole adoption process, they asked me like they can let you take books, they let you take the little teddy bears. They asked me what book I wanted, and I wanted Little Boy Blue, and that was just crazy how all that had happened into like the whole like formation of that. And so as I got older, I always ask my mom because she'd always call me Blue, and my friends would be like, "That's your name, bro?" Like I'm like, "Nah, bro, it's just a nickname." But like it would always be on like my transfer papers. Like whenever I go to a new school, like teachers would say like Jesse Little Boy Blue Williams, and kids would be like, "That's your name." Like so, I got made fun of that everywhere I went. But my mom was like, "I don't care about what people say. Like that's your name. It's
Mm.
unique." And she would always tell me, she was like, "Your name is the first thing that's given to you, and the last thing people remember you by in this earth. So you better
Wow.
make an impact wherever you go, like, and make sure it's a positive impact. You could be known for good or you could be known for bad. Which one you want to be known as?" And like, I grew up watching superheroes. So like, my favorite superhero was Spider-Man, and so
Me too. Hey, where
so
you think I got the Joe Spider from? You feel me?
yeah,
That's what
you already know.
yeah,
And so I feel
yeah,
like that's such
yeah.
like a black cultural thing because like we before Black Panther, we really attached ourselves to Spider-Man because he had that human-like aspect. But what stood out to me was what Stan Lee said, with great power comes great responsibility. And so that's what my mom says. She's like, this is like your superpower. It's like when you have this name bestowed upon you, it's not just for like shits and giggles. This is a real thing. Like, like you gotta understand, like, and like at an early age, she's like implementing me like stuff. She's like, blue is the color of the throat chakra. So you got to use your voice to heal the world. You got to use
Mm.
your gift of sound to heal the world. And so, like, as a 7, 8, 13-year-old, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what's a chakra and stuff like that? And she would tell me like to study numbers, to study numerology, like, when you see 444 synchronicities, to study like what colors mean. Nothing appears by accident. That's what she always told me. And she was like, you can always ask God, ask the universe, ask, for a sign, for a direction. And she's like, whenever you can't find yourself, look for the bluest thing. Look up to the sky, look up to blue, like you'll find it. And so like that was always like a big thing for me. Like growing up, I never really understood that. And so that's really kind of where my name came from. And it wasn't until I was older when I started to pursue music, like at first I forgot my first rap name was like Lil Bishop because I love the movie Juice.
Mm.
And that name just didn't stick. And then when I stayed in South Sacramento, I was around all my homies from Oak Park. They would always be like, "Oh, bro, you should just go by like what they say, Lil Messy J." And I was like, "No, but like I don't, that doesn't even sound like I
It's
don't even
not
know.
me. It's not me.
Like that's not me." And so like I just went through these ebbs and flows of like really just like I said, trying to find myself. And like my mom always said, if you can't find yourself, look for something blue. And so a lot of my homies from Inglewood was like, they would always call me Blue because that's what they heard my mom say, and they called her mama Blue. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with that. We'll see what happens, what goes with that. But like, I already went through that elementary school, middle school, and high school of trying to like debunk that and be like, nah, bro, it's just a nickname. Then like, I'm saying like my mom, other people started calling me that. Other people, so it became less of a nickname and just my identity of who I was. And it wasn't until I did a show in Seattle. This is like my early part of my career. Like I want to say 2022. Did a show in Seattle, and I get a knock on my door by like about an hour before the show. And the lady told me, she was like, "Hey, somebody's outside. It's your dad." I'm like, "What are you
Mm.
talking about? Like, I haven't seen my dad. I never talked to this man. I don't even know what he looked like outside of like some Facebook pictures." And she was like, "Yeah, your dad's here." I was like, "Did he say he might?" Because I don't have a dad. And everybody in my circle and my management team, like, they like, "Yeah, that's weird." So I told everybody to leave and I told him to come in. So I'm nervous. And sure enough, it was my dad. And he was talking to me like all kinds of crazy and just was like, yeah, like I gave birth to you. I was looking for you, da 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 da. Like that woman lied to you. And I'm just like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, and he was like, so we started arguing. And obviously it got started to get violent. And he just basically told me, like, he's like, no matter what, like, you have my name, you have my blood inside of you. So like there's no running from me. And obviously it got real violent really, really quick. And so I'm having this random stranger who's telling me like he's my dad on top of me, like basically like about to take my life away. And I'm thinking all to myself, like, bro, I can't go out like this, bro.
Right,
And
right.
and I just remember like just grabbing everything in sight. And I just remember like there was like this like bottle. I think it was like apple cider because I don't drink. So I got this bottle of apple cider and like I tried to like crack it over his head, but it was so big. I think it just like left like a little like scratch on his head and it never cracked and he passed out. And like I got
Mm.
up, like I ran to like I think it was like a CVS or like a Walgreens and I called 911 and I was just so nervous and so scared. And I ended up walking back And I was just like praying the whole time because I was like, bro, I don't want to go to jail. Like, is he dead? And paramedics came, they like escorted him off. And before he left, I was like, bro, I don't want nothing to do with the name Jesse. Like, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, I started my own identity. I don't even know who you are. And from that point on, like, that just became like, I have to really embrace this blue, right? And like, I cried because I was like, that just felt like a moment where like I ran from so many things. I ran from so many things in life, like that had like really had nothing to do with my dad, but had more being just a man, masculinity. And I ran from that, whether that was responsibilities, whether that was just owning up to who I was and just my sense of self. And at that point, I felt like instead of running away from the problem, I ran towards the problem. And
Yeah.
that just became really powerful for me. And now it's just like part of my testimony. And like I take that with pride every time I grace the stage. Like I ask God to like don't see me on stage, like see the blessings that God has given me. See how this has really like how he has blessed me, you know what I'm saying? And so I remember like fast forward obviously a whole year later. um I remember I started telling people on campus at UC Davis, like, don't call me Jesse no more. Just I go by Blue. Because nobody knew about this story. Nobody in my first friend group knew. I think the only person that knew was my homie Chuba, who played on the football team because he came pick me up from the airport. And so I told Deanna Bell at UC Davis about it. And she was like, okay, like I'll just call you Blue. Like I don't want to like cause any problems. I was like, no, that's okay. Like those that know, they know. If they don't know, like they don't really matter.
Yeah.
And so when it came time for graduation, they was telling us like, oh yeah, like, we can't call you by that. And I was like, dang, my people in the crowd, like they already kind of know about that. And like, they only know me as Blue, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she was like, I'm gonna see if I can finesse it, but like, I'm not calling the names. And so a little backstory about that, like I'm backstage and they had told everybody like, bro, like this is like post COVID. So they was like, bro, this is y'all time to go crazy at graduation. All right. If you are Greek, stroll, pop out, do your stuff. If you want to wave at mom and dad, do a backflip for all we care. But this is your time. For a lot of y'all gonna go into the workforce, y'all gonna become dads and moms, do whatever. And for me, like I'm the first person in my family to graduate. You know what I'm saying? So like that meant a lot to just not only like walk across stage, but like Black Grad. They was talking about Black Grad before I was a student. So I was like, bro, I'm about to show out.
Yeah.
So that's what they had told us. And then my uncle, he had came and he had like saw me because he'd been through so much with me. He was like, bro, you did it. Like he was like, I got recruited by UC Davis out of high school and I didn't have the grades. So like you will always like be one up on me. And so he had gave me my blue flag. And he was like, you know what this means, right, bro? Like you gotta like represent, bro. Like represent where you from, represent Grandma Violet, because like this is like her prophecy. After you done with school, you finna go do music. Cause that's all I talked about. Like I was like, I'm gonna just sacrifice 4 years, do school, but like once I get this degree, can't nobody tell me nothing. Like I'm going out and doing this industry stuff. I don't care. So we backstage and the girl before me, she's mad.
Blue Williams.
Yes, this video. And so, bruh. Bruh. This video is crazy.
I have to make sure you feel me.
Nah, yeah, bruh. Bruh, this video always cracked me up. Because mind you, this is not planned. This is not planned at all. Not planned at all. Bro, not planned at all, bro. Like, just look at everybody reaction behind me, bro.
Yeah.
Like, shout out Milton, bro. Shout out Milton too, bro. And Gary for going along with it, bro. Like, and so like, just like the funny part about that is like the girl in front of me, she was nervous. She was like, bro, what if I trip and fall? I don't know where my family's sitting. Like she looked back at me, she said, Blue, can you stall? So everybody back there looking at me like, what you thought? Like you about to do a backflip? Like I was like, I don't know, but I really don't. I'm waiting for them to call my name because I'm like, am I gonna set trip off of just a name? Because I don't want them to be like, you gotta walk out, bro. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like whatever name they call, my people gonna yell out Blue. Like I don't care. But when he said Jesse, Little Boy Blue Williams, and it's the way he said it, because I feel like he said everybody else's names a little like monotone or just, I don't know, but it just reminds me of this Bible verse that like, we are set apart from this world. You're a peculiar kind, right? Like like that's what it reminds me of. And so he had said my name almost as if it was like I was entering like a boxing match, or like I was like getting awarded a Grammy or something. Like it just felt like it felt euphoric. And so he said my name, and everybody's just backstage looking at me like, what are you about to do? And
What
I
he
walked
gonna
out,
do?
and my uncle just stood up and was like, bro, hit your walk, cuz. Like, hit your walk, cuz. And so I did, you feel me? And then like I did the splits, because like at every like family birthday party, everybody knows like I'm just known for dancing. I've been dancing since I was a kid. So did my little walk or whatever, and then I go up to Milton to get like the stole put on me, and I seen this old lady up front. She was like, do it again, do it again. And so I faked them out, and the crowd was just obviously eating it up. The reactions was crazy, because like I think the first 20 people that went before me, that like I think we had 2 or 3 people that strolled, but the rest people kind of was just waving. It was kind of really nothing, and I was like, bro, like y'all better go crazy. And it was just really crazy. Like I really owned up to that moment. And obviously Gary played along with it. Everybody just went crazy. And like I said this before, it just really felt like the community really embraced me. It felt like, and like to go from that a whole year ago to not be embraced by my community or not be embraced by my family, that just meant a lot. And so I remember like I ran.
Can you talk to me real quick about like the opportunities that having you living and being you in a moment that's meant to celebrate, right? And you living in your authenticity. Can you talk about the opportunities that allowed you to even go to, right? Because I think it's important for people to understand it's like you were just being you in that moment, right? Whereas to other people were trying to be more reserved, they were trying to be more humble, and at the end of the day, like you were the person that was like, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna have them call the name that I'm supposed to be called, right? And I'm gonna be my authentic self. And at other times, and at some institutions, they frown on that. But shout out to UC Davis, you feel me, for allowing you and appreciating you for being that. But talk about some of the things that have led to now, right? Because you were being you. Because I know a lot of people try to follow this cookie cutter thing, right? They want to be so much like each other. Like, I want to be like that person on social media. I want to be like that person on TV. I want to be like that in the movies. But in reality, it's like, but there's only one you. You know what I mean? And so I just want you to elaborate a little bit on the benefits of, or what you've been able to reap now that you've sold into being yourself.
Man, so just for like context, just to let everybody know watching it, just for yourself, like that happened in 2023, right? And I ran backstage after that was happening. I ran to my uncle, gave him a big old hug. We cried about it because he was like, dude, you took that moment for yourself. Like, this is what I tell you all the time, to just be yourself. Because he would always tell me that, like, be yourself, like you're you. And kind of what you said, like there's only one you. And especially coming to a place like Davis, a PWI, it's frowned upon a lot for a lot of Black folk to really just be authentically themselves, because especially in a world where people say, oh, be yourself. But then especially when Black people, when they are themselves, when we walk out the house with the do-rag or the bonnet, people are like they start to give us like, don't be like that. Like, let's tone it down.
Right.
It meant a lot. And so a year ago, fast forward after that, I'm at my internship working for the state, right? Working under Gavin Newsom for the Department of Education, the California Community Colleges. And I'm working there. And I remember sitting in my cubicle and I was like, God, like, this isn't what I want to do. It's fulfilling, but this ain't what I want to do. I want to be on stage. I want to be myself. And at this job, I just feel like I don't have the opportunity to be myself. And I sat there. The maintenance man walked away. He was like, hey, I'm about to lock up. He's like, just let yourself out. I'm like, all right. I cried. I prayed. I said, God, please, I need a miracle. The next day, I woke up to a DM of the Davis Dirt, which is a local newspaper at Davis. They said, hey, can we feature you? We noticed you've been dropping music lately. Like we love to like feature new artists, new talent. So, you know, I did the interview and everything. It was cool. So I asked them, I was like, why'd you guys reach out to me? Because Davis isn't really known for rap or R&B, or, you know, it's kind of like country, folk, Western, or like just house rock. And they were like, well, you're just being yourself. Like, that's why we reached out. It stood out to us. It's different from the rest. So I was like, okay, it stood out. Cool. Like, being myself has its benefits. The next day after that, I got another call from this radio, right? 102.5 KSFM. They were like, yo, Sacramento, like we want to feature your song because it stood out to us. It doesn't sound like something we always hear, right? We hear Sac rap, Sac R&B. It obviously follows like you said, cookie cutter or this formula. And I was like, dang, okay, like God, that was cool, you know? And so I said, God, just give me one more blessing so I know that it's from you, because from the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, 3, right? And right after that, UC Davis alumni Instagram page texted me and said, hey, we want to feature your video for a Throwback Thursday on our Instagram page. And at first I was like, nah, like I don't know, because I don't really associate myself with the campus or with an organization, because this is right at the time I think the Palestine movements were going on, the protests. So I was like, I think this is a bad look for myself.
I think also it's like you never know what trajectory or what direction it's going to go to when you're associating with another entity, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't want this on Fox News right now.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's the best thing.
That's how I felt initially. Yeah. So I called my uncle up, because he always be just giving me great advice. He was like, you know what? Just make sure they got your music cut. Like you'll be straight. So I was like, all right. So I hit him back up. I'm like, yeah, please feature this, feature that. They're like, okay, we're gonna post it, on Thursday for Throwback Thursday. I'm like, okay, Thursday is actually good for my engagement, so I'll repost it. And I hit my homie up, Jeremiah, who was graduating the following year, and I said, hey, bro, like, if this gets over 10K followers or 10K views, because I seen their page, and I was like, they only got like 5K on their biggest thing. If this gets 10K, like, I'll cash app you $100, like you got to recreate that or something. He was like, bet. And I was like, ain't that crazy? Like a whole year, I didn't really get any crazy like benefits from that. Like man, it's whatever. It's cool. He was like, all right, bro. So they posted it Thursday. We put it all throughout the football group chat or whatever. And like, I think I sent it to my mom and her people. We went to sleep, and it was at like 9,000. I was like, it's gonna crack 10K, like maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning. We went to sleep. We woke up the next day. It was at 100K. We was like, whoa. We was like, whoa, bro. I was like, well, here go your $100, bro. Like, you ain't got to recreate it. Then that was on Saturday. It hit 500K. So we looking at this like, hey, bro, this might do something, right? So initially, right after that, a whole year ago, one of the benefits that I got, I walked into Cane's in Davis. And the lady behind the counter, she jumped behind the counter. She's like, oh my God, you're LxttleBoyBlue. So I was like, okay. And my homie Jeremiah was like, yeah, this is my boy. You must know him from the video.
Hook us up with some extra chicken, extra biscuits.
They gave us 2 free Caniac combos. Just for me myself. So I was like, that's weird. So my homie was like, wait a minute, let's see if this worker across the street. So he ran across the street. He showed a video to the girl, and the girl's like, oh my God, that's so funny. I seen it. He goes, my partner in the car right now. We go across. She's like, oh my God, do you guys want some free cookies? So I'm like, bro, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no. And like, this is right after the video. So then that happened. We do this at 3 shops. And it start working. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna jig and finesse like that. He's like, you might as well benefit off the school, because the school finna benefit off of you. I was like, you right. All right, bro.
That's a good point.
So Sunday, I'm in church, and my phone is buzzing, like ding, 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 ding. I put it on silent. I'm like, bro, this time between me and God. My homies is calling me all from LA and everything. They're like, go look at what I post. Go. I'm like, bro, I'm looking at my phone. I put it back down. I step outside the church. They said Spike Lee commented and reposted. So I'm like, nah, this is like Spike Lee. Like, this must be a different Spike Lee. They're like, Spike Lee. I'm like, do the right thing. They're like, yes. I was like, Malcolm X. They're like, yes, bro. I'm like, nah, the Knicks Spike Lee. They're like, yes, bro. Like, what other Spike Lee do you know? I look at the comment. I'm in shock. Like, I screenshot it maybe like 4 times. I'm like, nah, bro, this not real. And I DM'd him. He DM'd me. He was like, keep up the work, brother. And I'm like, bro, should I just shoot my shot? Like, bro, put me in a video or a movie or something. And I did. I was like, hey, man, like, I'm an actor too. So, like, don't think this entertainment stuff. Like, I graduated with an English degree in African American Studies, minor in education. He was like, great work, brother. He was like, definitely gonna pass this video along, and hopefully something happens. I'm like, dang, bro, like, just like that. Monday, this is where like my world kind of changed. Monday, I woke up dumb late. Normally I wake up at like 6 o'clock. I meditate, I go for a walk, go for a run. But I think I was just off the just high alone of just like, my life is really changing right in front of me. And I asked God to do these things for me. So I like just was in shock, and I just went to deep sleep. I woke up at like 10. So obviously my day is starting late. I'm responding to emails. I'm about to head to the studio. And my cousin calls me. He was like, cuz, are you good? I was like, what's wrong? He was like, I just want to check on you. I'm like, yeah, bro, I just woke up late. He goes, can you go see what I posted? And I see he posted the video. So I'm like, bro, you posted the video. Like, thank you. Like, you family. Like, he's like, I don't think you saw who I posted it from. I look again, it's from Snoop Dogg.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, bro, like, I didn't expect this, bro. So like, why'd you call me if I was okay? He goes, hello, somebody want to talk to you. And the phone hangs up. And I'm like, all right. So I try to call him back. I don't get no response. I get a call. It's from a 310 number, right? And that's Los Angeles area code. And
Yeah.
like, I don't answer no phone number that I don't recognize. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the heck? So I let it just ring. I look at it again. I'm brushing my teeth. I open it and I was like, hello? And then all I heard was, Baby Blue, you know what it do. This your Uncle
Ah.
Snoop. I said, Snoop Dogg. Snoop, like Snoop. He was like, what other Snoop Dogg do you know, baby? I was like, bro, what? I was like, what's up, He was like, how you doing, Baby Blue? He was like, you ever been to the Death Row Records? I was like, no, Uncle Snoop. He was like, let me know. He's like, I'm gonna have somebody email you so we can get some itinerary for you. All right, come fly out and hang out with the dog. I was like, bruh. So a whole year later, I go to hang out with Snoop Dogg. I spent a week with him, and I was asking him just everything that I wanted to ask him. Like, obviously, ownership of my masters, music. I wanted to know like the game, like how do I apply like street mindset to like a business mindset? How do I apply all these things? And what people don't know about this is that how small the world is and just how you can just really use your networking, right? Is that when I was 13 and I moved to Elk Grove, Sacramento, right? We would have always at lunch, we would have entertainment, like, so it'd be like small bands performing at our school for like rallies or stuff like that during lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So one day we had this girl named Corey B perform at our school. And the day before our school, people are like Googling, who is it? So somebody's like, oh, I think she's related to Snoop Dogg. So they're like, oh yeah, Snoop Dogg's daughter or Snoop Dogg's cousin, his niece is coming to our school. Then the day she's there, they're like, no, bro, this is Snoop Dogg's daughter at our school. So everybody's going crazy. And so at the end of her performance, she's like, do we have any dancers? Everybody's like, Blue, get up there. And I'm like, I'm really shy. I'm like, nah, but like, all right, bro, if y'all say so.
Yeah, there you go.
I go off. She gets my phone number. She gets my information. I end up going on tour with her that summer. And I met Snoop Dogg. Wow. And I remember I asked him as a kid, mind you, I'm like 13 years old. I'm like, I'm hella young. I'm like, Uncle Snoop, like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And my mom's like, nah, like, you going to go to school. And Uncle Snoop looked at me, looked at my mom, was like, you should listen to mom because school going to get you. But he's like, if you could finish school and like graduate, he was like, then holla at me when you're ready. And I'm like, bruh. He's just saying that now. He's just saying that. So I asked him, he was like, wait, hold on, cuz what you say your name was? And I was like, LxttleBoyBlue, like this is where I lived at. He's like, so he called his daughter. She was like, do you remember him? She's like, oh my God, yes, I remember. So like everything just started forming. I was like, bro, like God just worked overnight, Amazon delivery blessings. So I was like, bro, so he gave me so much game, hooked me up with this producer, this dancer, this videographer. He was like, if you need anything, let me know. He was like, it ain't nothing but a call away, an email away. Like, we can get it done for you, but just put in the work. I'm not just going to give it to you just to give it to you. He was like, I done did so many favors for people, and they just expect that. He was like, I got my own family just sitting up there just because they think related to me, but they're not ready to put the work in. So I was like, all right, I got you. I got back on that flight just feeling so motivated and so determined, just off the opportunities that he had placed for me. Like, it was like Skechers modeling deals. It was like voiceover, like opportunities to be on Doggyland. So it was just so much that I was just like, bro, like my life literally changed. And so right after that, the video's still circulating. It's still blowing up.
Yeah. It was going up for a minute, like a minute.
Man, like that whole summer. So I get another call. He goes, hey, Baby Blue, you ever been to the BET Awards? I was like, no, Uncle Snoop, I actually have it. He goes, hey, take my spot. I ain't going this year. I said, I will gladly.
Facts. Bet.
So this
I'm
is
here on Snoop's card.
yeah, bro. That's how I felt, right? He rented out a blue suit for me. I still have it to this day. Everything. So I'm like, bro, like my life is changing in front of me. Mind you, at this same time, there was a crazy hip hop beef going on, and I'm like, I'm in LA during this whole thing, bruh. My cousin, he in Inglewood, and he's like, bruh, I don't think you understand what just happened since he dropped this song. I think, bro, you need to do whatever to find your way to be around these people in TDE. So I don't know how, but I got in contact with Devin Malik, who signed at TDE. Shout out Devin. He was like, dude, where are you at? I was like, bro, I'm in Davis. It's like, bro, where the hell is Davis? I'm like, Sacramento. He's like, oh, okay, bet. So he got me tickets to go to the pop out. That was something I never seen before, bro. Like, let's not just talk about like the performance, just everything. Like, bro, got people from different gangs and different sets on stage unifying over just like protecting hip hop, protecting culture, and
Yeah.
it was just crazy to
Yeah,
see because
that
like
was a historic moment for sure. Historic.
I grew up down the street in Inglewood off Hazel from the Kia
Yeah.
Forum, and I was like, bro, I want to go there one day. I want to perform there one day. So I'm just seeing that and seeing Tommy the Clown, seeing all these like artifacts from LA and just history and just I was like just inspired. So I was like, bro. So I took in the moment, I took pictures and everything. Then a week later, the BET Awards, and then right after that, the Not Like Us video happened all throughout Compton, all throughout Crenshaw. So like I'm running to like get in front of the camera, bro, and people are blocking everything. And I remember like they wrapped up the video shoot. Like the only time you can see me is my hand is like this in this blue hoodie, and all you see is like right under the city hall structure. So I'm like, bruh, I ran and like one of the producers, Cal Maddock, who was like Kendrick Lamar's like longtime collaborator, he was like, wait, bruh, ain't you the bruh from the video? And I was like, yeah, but that's me. He was like, bro, you should have said something, bro. Just say you was with us or something. Like we could have got you a little cameo in the video, bro. You don't understand. Like this is history we making. I don't think you understand. I'm like, bro, I don't even, like Kendrick is one of my favorite people. Like you can go back to like Section 80 days. I was rapping that in middle school. I was like, bro, like Kendrick's one of my favorite artists. He was like, all right, bro. So we took his number down. I was like, if you need anything, let me know. Mind you, got that confirmation again. So all this is happening. A whole week later after that, it's July. So mind you, that whole month of June, just blessings on blessings on blessings. July, my cousin or my homie Zaire from the UC Davis football team, he calls me up. He was like, hey, bro, what you doing this weekend? I'm like, nothing. He's like, what are you doing Sunday? I'm like, nothing, bro. He's like, oh, well, I saw you like this reel on Instagram. It's like the pergola La Russell. I was like, bro, I mess with La Russell tough. You don't understand. Like that got me through a lot of stuff. It's like him, Nipsey, and Lil Wayne. Like they got me through a lot of. He's like, well, I got a free ticket if you want to go. I'm like, bro, say less. I'm going.
Shout out Zaire. Shout out Zaire.
So we go, and he's like, oh, like just to let you know, like you got to put the work in. I'm like, bro, that's not a problem. Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, we might have to like, get some ice, put it in the cooler because rest is for the community. And I was like, okay, like I seen this on Instagram, but this is different than what I expected. I thought you just go to the show. He was like, no, but he be giving out like free water. It's offer best t-shirts and everything. Like, so I'm like, okay, like, so I'm watching him like perform. I'm watching him rehearse. So I'm like, this is cool because this is what I obviously want to do, but in the more like R&B, blues, gospel kind of realm. So to see this man kind of work behind the scenes, and I remember when I first walked in, I'm like, what's up, Russell? Like, how you doing, bro? I'm a big fan. He was like, what's up, nigga? And I was like, all right, that was not what I was expecting, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, and it wasn't like he was trying to like blow me off or nothing. He was just like,
He just like, I'm a regular dude. Like,
but he's like,
yeah,
I'm a regular dude. Like, so I'm like, what the heck? So once again, being myself, he's playing his music, mind you. The song that I was listening to, like, he's playing it. And I'm like gigging off to the side. Like, I'm really like in it. He see me while he's rapping, daps me up and pulls me to the middle of the circle. I start gigging. The crowd is loving it once again. I do the splits. Everybody going crazy. And I tell everybody back up. And I just did a backflip in the middle of the small circle. They go crazy. They're like, bruh. And everybody's like looking at like, who is this dude, right? So after the concert, Splash, his cameraman, shout out Splash the kid.
Shout out Splash.
He was like, bruh, I love your energy, bro. We got to have you on tour, bro. We got to have you at every show. So I'm like, bro, you just saying that. He's like, no, bro, take my number down. I need like, bro, hit me, bro. He said, where you stay at? I said, well, I'm from Oakland, but I stay in Davis. He's like, bro, I love Davis. I was just up there. I was like, no, bro, you was not in no Davis. Don't lie to me, bro. Just say you was in Fairfield. Say you was in Sac. Don't say because nobody come today. He's like, bro, I promise you, I was downtown by G Street on Woodstock. I was like, oh yeah, you was.
You know what's crazy is again, I think is going back into that things being full circle is that La Russell was supposed to be our headliner for Picnic Day at UC Davis in 2024.
Yep.
But it got rained out, and you,
yes,
you know what I'm saying, was also supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, one of those artists on the stage as well too. Yeah. So it's crazy because like y'all obviously would have met and connected at that time. but it didn't align.
Yeah.
But this is when, again, you talk about your purpose and being you and walking in,
Yep.
and allowing God to do his work. Like, if it's meant for you, it's gonna come.
It's gonna
And
come.
sometimes it might not be when we thought it was supposed to be, because
Sure.
we thought 2024, you know what I'm saying,
For
Black
sure.
Family Day was supposed to be it, right? But then it ended up being 2025, a
Man,
whole year later. You know what I'm
whole
saying?
year
You
later,
actually get
man.
that opportunity to connect with him. And now, I just want to interject
No,
and say,
yeah. And so from that point on, bro, I've opened up and I've done shows for him. Like, really, it would be like a special guest kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
he would kind of bring me along the side. Then that started bringing in the kids on stage, like Avery, the 9-year-old rapper. So I was like, this is cool. But then I started like just really contributing, because he went from like, what's up, nigga, to like, what's up, Blue? Like, he was really dapping me up, calling me, hey, bro, we need your energy. I just did a show in Seattle. I just did a show in Chicago. I come back, I'm mad tired, bro. Pump up the crowd. So I remember before the show, DJ Kenzo, he's doing like a pre-show, just kind of getting the crowd juice and everything. I asked Kenzo, I'm like, Kenzo, what you need from me? He's like, bro, just dance in the crowd or whatever. So I just got on stage. I started doing what I was doing. Once again, being myself. Tieta was like, you want this to be your full-time role, your full-time job? Just let me know. And from that point on, I was doing that. I would bring people on stage. And then from that, I would see the kids in the crowd, because you see the kids kind of dancing on their own. I would bring the kid on stage, and that started like the whole like GC babies and having the kids dance on stage and just teaching the kids how to sneeze. So that was like my kind of role, and I did that like literally like whenever I could, like going on the road with them, going to Petaluma, going to Santa Cruz. So that was my thing. That led me from being LaRussell's kind of like hype man or backup dancer to Miles Minute, Pilo, I Am Sue. Then it gradually went up to E40. Now that's like an OG, and then Too Short. And then when they get their kind of like their OG status too. So now I'm doing backup dancing for Warren G when he does Regulate. I'm doing backup dancing for E40 for Too Short. So I'm like, bro, Richie Rich hit me and was like, hey, nephew, I got a show at Oakland at the New Parish. You think you can do a little sea walk to I Got 5-1? I'm like, of course, Rich, bro, come on, Richie Rich, I got you. So that was all benefits outside of like the entertainment side alone, because that also helped me. I'm chopping it up with these dudes, right?
Yeah.
At first, I was like, bro, I don't really care about being paid, because I'm getting paid through what you guys are passing down to me, right? They're putting me in rooms and opportunities that like lets me curate my own stream of income. So if I don't perform for LaRuss and I don't get paid for that, I'm gonna get a booking from somebody in the crowd or somebody that wants me to do that, because that's what happened. Somebody was like, I love your energy. I went to your page. I saw you do music. Can you perform at my high school? I saw you also speak. Can you do that? So they were like, well, we do a speaking opportunity for 500 and we do a performing opportunity for 500. So I was like, bet, let me know.
Quick
So,
band.
Right. And at the time, I'm like, bro, what? That's one school. Then school after school started hitting me up, and I'm tying that with my story. Once again, being myself. And I just remember like just seeing my name on that check, not only just my name, Little Boy Blue, but also knowing that like my seed, my gift that was installed in me produces its own fruit, right? That I don't have to do nothing else, no artificial, nothing. I don't have to ask somebody like, hey, can you look after my tree real quick while I go do this? No, bruh, it's already in me. So anybody watching, man, like it's already instilled in you. It's upon you to do it. So post it, create that thing, but it's on you. Like you don't have to rely on no outside source. It's just really between you and the creator, you and the master of really just creating that thing. And then on his timing, like you said, his time, it might not be your season right now, because, bro, I don't see peaches really growing in the wintertime. They're really prominent in the summer, right? And vice versa when it comes to bees. I don't see bees in the wintertime, right? And so you have to understand that, like, the Bible says, like, there's a season for everything, right? There's a season under the sun. And like I the Lord, Isaiah 60:22, I the Lord at the right time will make that happen. So if it's not happening right now, it just ain't the right time. It just ain't the right time. My OG used to put me onto this all the time. He would always be like, hey, bro, if I gave you milk, eggs, butter, vanilla extract, he going through the whole list. He's like, what you got? I'm like, bro, you got a cake. He's like, no, you don't. He's like, you got grocery items. You have all the tools to make a cake.
Yeah, you still got to make it.
You got to make it. You got to beat the eggs. You got to pour a certain amount of sugar, because if you pour too much sugar, guess what? It's going to flatten in the middle. You pour too much flour, it's dry. He said, but then when you're done, you got to actually go through the fire, bruh. You got to put it through something. You got to go through the test. In order to be something, you got to go through something. You got to know something. I'm like, dang, but this is my OG, mind you. So I'm like, all right, bro. So he's like, when you pull that cake out the oven, that ain't nothing but just a loaf. You got to frost it up. You got to look the part. You got to be presentable. Because you can have all these clumps and put whipped cream on it. People can be like, I'm not eating that. It don't look right.
Right.
It don't look like a cake. Because the same ingredients that you make a cake can make cornbread, can make cupcake, can make brown. He said, it's all about what's inside. And so he was like, once you frost it up, let it cool for a while. Somebody gonna take a slice of that cake. Somebody gonna take a bet on you. But you gotta use your ingredients, use everything that is given to you. Because like even right now, you're using this platform, right? It's gonna come a point in a day where you have a facility where you can have the podcast mic and equipment. You could have the production team that has
yes, sir.
Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna grow. You got to start. It probably started on a FaceTime interview or maybe a Zoom, and it's grown to this. I've seen it, right? Yeah. The same way with LaRussell. He was doing this in his backyard, and to the point where we're getting Juvenile, we're getting Richie Rich, we're getting Mike Jones. Like, bro, Mike Jones to come to the backyard. Jones.
Yo, when I seen that video, I said, these people in the crowd don't know Mike Jones. We know Mike Jones.
Yes,
his Mike 281-330-8004. You know what I'm
Still
saying?
Got that number to this day. Like, bro, like that's why I was like, I'm like, okay. And like knowing that, I'm like, all right, God, like alignment. That's all it really needs to be. I don't have to compare myself to nobody else. I just got to bake my cake. And so there's been a plethora of opportunities, the speaking opportunities, the entertainment opportunity. I've been featured in 3 different documentaries. Still haven't even gotten to post any of them. I posted one, which was the PBS documentary, which was the history of funk, which I had no recollection of. And then they started like passing out royalty checks. I was like, oh, like I didn't even know about this. So thank you for that.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got notified like a day later. So it was cool stuff like that, like, you know, opportunities like that, and just more opportunities, obviously, like this one today. And much more. Like the highlights was Snoop Dogg, BET Awards, attending Kendrick Lamar's shows, and meeting all his backup dancers on the GNX tour. That was another opportunity that I wasn't expecting, but I'm grateful for. You know, in this life that I've learned that, you know, be entitled to nothing but grateful for everything. You know what I'm saying? Just because my name, you know, means something on social media, I got a blue check mark and a certain amount of followers, that don't mean nothing. I still got to work for it. Still got to work like I'm broke and hustle like it, you know what I'm saying? But carry myself like the king that I know I am. And so be entitled to nothing but grateful for everything, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that I've always carried with me. And so it was really, really cool post viral moment. And that got me to create my own platform, right? With Blue and It's All Love with my homies and the stuff that I've been doing. Because people could tell you like, man, he been doing this. Like he was doing this in his garage. So like, it's not new to anybody. That's why people say like, like fame changes people. It only changes the people when like that there's commas and zeros involved. Because to this day, there's people that like have known me from when I was a kid, that I've always worn a blue hoodie, that I've always, you know, been myself. I haven't changed. Now they could tell you he hasn't changed one bit. He's still himself. And so like just having that authenticity, that's the biggest thing. Like that's your currency these days. So like I had to learn that, even to this day, like I'm still relearning parts of myself and healing parts of my inner child to still be who I am today and still bring that to my making. So like I said, I dropped an EP that was really cool. Opened up for LaRussell, worked with Haiti Baby. I was in the Boy music video. So I've been in a lot of people's projects, just growing and growing each day. Met Ryan Coogler. Definitely want to try to do some stuff with him.
I know that like there are people who, not to cut you off, but I know there's people who think that people in your position are like overnight successes. But I love the fact that you talked about it's like you've always been this way. You've always been doing this. And I think it's the same thing with like artists, right? And like musicians, right? Like it's like just because they got noticed by you today, it doesn't mean that they started this today. Like it still takes years of practice to be able to curate that song that day in front of that crowd that way, right? Like it like you don't just wake up and be like, okay, I'm able to play at a recital now. Like it takes months of rehearsal and practice and messing up so that you can do that performance. And so when people think like, oh well, he just got successful because he just got lucky, no, like there's I always say like success is luck meets opportunity. I mean preparation meets opportunity. Like you were out there putting in the work. And then there came an opportunity and because you were already prepared for it, you didn't mess it up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's exactly what it is, bro. That's why I'm like smiling, I'm cheesing, because it's like when you know, you know. If anybody else was granted that opportunity, it wouldn't have. I don't know if it would have panned out the same exact way. Because like, how do you carry that momentum from going viral? Like, because my life has not been the same since. And like I said, back to my grandma, like that was really crazy, because I was like, bruh, like she said it in writing. I have the letter. She said in 25 years time, when he's 25, like the world's going to know his name. And my homie texted me. He was like, bro, I don't think you understand. Cause he's scrolling, right? Cause you can go on Instagram, you click the sound. He's
Yeah.
scrolling. It's like 100, 200 videos. He's scrolling. Every time he scroll, Jesse, little boy, Jesse, little boy, Jesse. He's like, I don't think you understand, bro. At the start of this video, about 8.5 million people know who your name is. Cause like,
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand, this is really like your grandma's prophecy coming true. And he was like, this is only the beginning. When you win a Grammy, bro, like, and you give all glory to God on that stage, like that's gonna be a real defining moment, bro. It's just gonna take some time. If it took 5 years for people to know who you are from this viral video, it might take another 5 years for people really recognize your music or your gift or your talent, bro. But like, this is the beginning, bro. And I know it don't feel like it, so that's why I preach that, like, bruh, day one is gonna look different than day 100, and day 100 is gonna look different than day 1000. But you got to keep chopping that wood, and eventually that tree's gonna fall. But it's all about putting in that time, putting in that work, and really becoming prepared. Because like, if there was a time for you, like let's say I get invited to an event, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm asked to bring a plus one, and you could be on the red carpet with me. You might get the opportunity to interview Nick Cannon, and it's not gonna be on some like, oh, should I prepare this question or should I do this? I got to do my bro. You gonna already be ready.
Been doing it.
Because you've been doing it for so many times. You've been stacking up the days. So to the average person, like, oh my God, this is like, he just hit the game winner. Oh my God. But you like, I've been practicing this shot. You know, y'all seen the shot I made. How many of y'all have seen the shot I missed in practice? The shots I missed on my own. Because I missed so many. And that was me, like, I want to say 2 years ago, where I was DMing people, hey, check out my song. Hey, check me out. Hey, let me open up for you. To hear no. Now it's at the point where I gotta turn down people. Hey, bro, I gotta do Richie Rich. I can't come to Petaluma. Oh, I gotta do E40 out of Rock. I can't come with y'all. So it's just blessing after blessing after blessing.
You know what's crazy too is that like I used to work in in sales for a major Fortune 500 company, and some of the things that they would always say is like, it's not about how many no's you get. Like, you have to become callous essentially to hearing the word no from people that you're trying to offer things to. And I think it's the same thing in art. I think it's the same thing in just anytime you're I don't like to say chasing your dreams. I always like to say being you and allowing your dreams to attract. But it's like, you have to be comfortable with people saying no, and don't take it personal. Just be like, all right, cool. Like, you said no, that's your mistake. You pass on this opportunity, no problem. You could have got me for a cheap price now, but you know what I'm saying? Because the price going up next week.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like, that was like the biggest thing. Like, I apply that to like every aspect of my life, especially when it comes to like dating too. Like, or just when you ask yourself, like, when you know your self-worth, I feel like other people don't like that, because they're like, he's not gonna be anything, or he like, it's like, all right, buddy. So when I am up, because I know I am, and like it's not even like a cocky level, like you're very well aware of your potential and your value, because it's confidence, and it's nothing against the other person. Like, when I walk in a room, especially when we go into Warner Brothers, or we go into like Atlantic Records with good company, or even sometimes by myself, I'm like, I deserve to be here. I deserve to be here. Like, that guy probably has been producing for X artist or this person, but I was like, he just don't have that it factor that I do. And like you can have all these plaques, but I know what I bring to the table. And like, that's the same way, like just anything in life, like what you bring to the table, because it's gonna fit somebody. Back to my analogy with the cake, somebody gonna be like, man, I could bake that. How many times have you heard somebody on social media, man, I could have did that, but you didn't. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't. So many people got podcast mics, but it's not going in the direction that they want to go to. So many people have music out, it's not going in the direction that they go to, because either one, is lacking authenticity. Two, you put the mindset of I could do that. So when you instead of I could do that, instead of I get to do that, or I need to do that because this is my art, I have to get it out. Because there's so many ideas that I have up here, I have to put on paper, I have to put it in the studio, I have to put in a song. The world is your oyster at that point. You can manifest and everything comes attracting to you because you have it already in you. That's how I feel. Like I said, I apply that to dating, I apply that to my finances, I apply that to like any job opportunity or music opportunity, because it's like, yeah, like if someone tells me no, that's on them. Like, yeah, I'm gonna boo-hoo about it for the first 5 minutes, but I'm gonna be like, you know what? Cool, we back at it,
You
and
keep it
somebody's
pushing.
gonna pick this
Exactly.
up.
Exactly. You keep it pushing. I think and that's just what it's about. It's about keeping that mentality of I understand, my importance. I understand what I was called to do. I understand that this is a difference maker. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if somebody else doesn't understand that, especially like when it comes to, I like to tell people this, especially when it comes to like things like dating or when you're putting yourself out there for other people to recognize you, right? I always
Mhm.
say like it's not a 1 year game.
Mm-mm.
It's a 10-year game. You know what I'm
For sure.
saying? So if I'm projecting based on what things are going to be like in 10 years, not right now, because anybody can be up right now.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? Like there's a lot of people that, you know what I mean, got one hit wonders. There's a lot of people who might have stuck on stage and was able to get a quick moment for a quick second, but it's about longevity. So it's like if somebody isn't able to see what I'm able to see for the next 10 years, we're not meant to be. We're not
No,
meant
for
to be
sure.
collaborators. We're not meant to be partners. We're not meant to be, in an intimate relationship together. Like you have to see the vision. And if you don't respect the vision, then you won't respect the work. And if you don't
Right.
respect the work, you don't respect me.
Come
Because
on.
that's you know what I'm saying? I'm the one that's putting in the work and I'm the
Come
one
on.
that's dedicated to it. So yeah, I
Exactly.
like the fact that you got that mentality as well.
You have to, bro, and especially in this entertainment industry, like it's like it's damn near like basketball or football. Like you're gonna have a bad player. Not every game you're gonna win, so you have to like really keep your chin up and take a lot of losses, man. Like I've taken so many like quiet L's, bro, but like the way God blesses me, like people try to do me dirty privately, but God blesses me publicly. So I just hold my head on that, and just even with the viral video, bro, like people be like, oh, it was just a moment. But I got people to this day that DM me or like the reaction out of just like the Snoop Dogg, the entertainment. Yes, that was cool. The free stuff was cool. But the thing that really made me feel like I did something outside of my degree was I was getting DMs from a lot of my homies from LA that was like, bro, I just got out of jail, bro. And it's the first thing I saw, bro. I'm trying to go back to community college. How did you do it? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what you mean how I do it? They're like, nah, bro, like you gotta walk me step out. Like walk it to me, feed it to me like I'm a child, bro. Like tell me how I gotta do my FAFSA because I might want to see walk across stage. Like the fact that you went through what you went through, I'm trying to do that. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
dang, bro. And it was not just like my homies. I'm getting like random Instagram requests. And like, you know how you got to filter IG requests. I'm like looking and there's people from Brazil, Japan, Germany talking about like, we play this all the time whenever we're feeling sad. I'm like, my impact is bigger than
Mm-hmm.
anything that I've like, and like, the lady behind the UC Davis page, she showed me like the legit number. So whatever you want to say on social media, like I've read every comment, like, oh bro, like this is SDR, cool. Don't matter because I'm seeing the analytics, the numbers.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
telling me they had
Millions.
110% increase after 1 day of posting with followers and engagement. They
Yeah.
said just from the videos they collected, not the videos that's still out there that not being tagged or featured, just from videos collected, 65.3 million views.
Yeah.
Bruh, that's insane to think of. And every one of those videos has my name on it and just getting posted from rap culture. The shade room was the craziest one, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. That's why.
Revolt, hip hop, BET networks, and just like that's what I'm saying, like my impact and it was people that were DMing me. My daughter's coming to Davis in the fall and she can't wait to participate in Black Grad. I'm like, that
Yeah.
I didn't plan on doing it, but if I did plan on doing it, I would be like, this is why I do it. And I could seriously look my kid in the eye and be like, look, that's your pops, bro. But like, it's not about the celebration, it's about what I did to get there. Because there were days where I didn't want to go to class. There were days
Mm-hmm.
where I didn't want, like, but I told everybody that would listen, bro, because I went to JUCO. I went the JUCO route, right? And the only reason why I
Mm-hmm.
went to JUCO was because in high school, I didn't make the best decisions. I had a 0.9 GPA. And people don't know that. I had a 0.9 GPA. The only class I was passing was AP lunch and honors AP PE.
Wait,
Those are the only
how
classes I passed.
you get wait, how you get AP lunch? Like, hey, this
I
the
was just
smart
so
lunch
good
right
at
here.
it. I was just so good at it. But I just never went to class. And it wasn't like,
Hey, he talking about he do lunch real well. We're gonna give him AP
come
lunch.
on, man. And so but I never like dressed for PE. I was just, my mindset at the time was like, I always hung out with my homies. I always ditched class. I was the kid that would always be wanting to fight during PE. Like I just wasn't motivated in my mindset, but I really, really wanted to go to UCLA, UC Berkeley, or UC Davis. And I had NCAA football, like way before they like the hype of it is today. I had that on like I had it on PS2. And Me and my brother would always play, and we'd always filter through the schools. And I was like, bro, wouldn't it be crazy to actually go to this school? So whenever we would do campus tours, right, we would go. And so I was like, bro, Davis is up the street. Like, you think we could make it? Because he was like, I'm going to Sac State. I'm like, everybody named Mama go to Sac State. I'm going to Davis or UCLA or Berkeley. And so I went into my counselor's office one day and I was like, bro, this is where I want to go. Like, she looked at me. She was like, Blue, do you know your grades? And she laughed. I'll never forget, bro. She laughed. And I'm like, what's so funny? And she was like, I don't think you're going to get into those schools. Now, partially, she was right. The kid mindset that I had at that time, I wasn't getting to that school. But I was so like hurt by that. So I worked. I moved to Hawaii. I came back to California. I worked again. I was just working these odd jobs. I was like, I mowed lawns. I was a babysitter. I cut hair for a little bit. So I had like a t-shirt business. I was just doing everything. Until one day I was like, bro, I'm going back to school. I can't do this no more, bro. Like I'm living in Inglewood. I'm like ducking fades all the time. Like I gotta go, bro. I gotta go back to school. Ended up going to school, Feather River Community College. I tried to go to Sierra College, but I went on the campus. They had all these receivers, and the dude that was like telling me to leave because he was like kind of like dogging me out in practice every day. This dude, you probably don't know him, but he was like their best receiver. And he ended up getting a scholarship to go to Arizona State. And now he played in the league, played for the 49ers. His name is Brandon Ayuk. He was always bullying me in practice. He was like, bro, like, you're not going to play. He was like, bro, you're not going to play. I was like, damn. He was like, you know what you should do? You should go to Butte because Butte has some sorry receivers. And I was like, okay, like, I'm going to go to Butte.
Hey, Butte was a dope college, though.
No, Butte got some good, but he was just, that was his
trash
talking. Like, that was his trash. BA, anyone who knows BA, like, he trash talks like that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Butte. I went to Butte. The Paradise Fires was happening because this is 2018. So like the whole town was like desolate,
burned down.
Dang, I asked one of the recruiters.
I went to Chico State too, by the way.
Okay, cool. So like so I go a little up north past Chico. I go to Plumas County, Feather River College. Population is like under 5,000, and it's a small school. And I'm like, bruh, I'm in the middle of nowhere. It snows. Like
yikes!
Like between the snow and the people, it's all white. I don't know where I'm at. So I'm like, bro, I'm about to risk 2 years and just turn my life around. And I did. I went from having a 0.9 GPA to graduating with a 3.9. I was the first Black student speaker. I was the first Black Associated Student Body president. I was the team captain. I did like everything at that school because I was like, bro, I'm taking full advantage of this. And like I said, my life changed, but I took advantage of the opportunities that was there. So when I came to Davis, I was like, bro, I made it. Like I was like, bro. But I told myself there was days where like I didn't want to go to class, days where I didn't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, man, the Cavs suck. There's not a lot of Black people on this campus, bro. Like, this just really isn't it, bro. So that moment on stage, I was like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, I survived so much and been through so much. I understand why people cry at graduation. Because I would always see videos. I'm like, bro, it's just graduation. But I'm like
you don't understand until you in it. When you in it, that's how I
felt. I was like, man, like I never would have made it. But that's what was playing in my head, like before the graduation, never would have made it by Marvin Sapp because I never, if it wasn't for God and God alone, like I wouldn't have made it for like having the resources, the teachers, the staff, everyone at UC Davis to just really push me through. Because we already know that senior slump, senioritis, where it's that last quarter. You already got done with picnic day. You like, bro, I'm not going to class, bro. What? I'm not going, bro.
I'm cooked.
We have 4 weeks of school left. I'll be lucky if I pass with a D. And that's how I felt. But I really powered through, finished through the finish line. And I took like that literally was like my Nipsey Hussle victory lap right there. I was just like, bro, y'all seeing the product of a kid who just went through a lot. And this is like my oh happy day moment. And so to hear homies back home or just anyone that DM me that was talking about having their moment on stage or having, and the thing after that was this year's graduation, people were still reposting the video and people were dancing at the graduation. And Gary called me up and was like, hey, I hope you are aware of the monster you created. And I was like, I mean, initially, I'm not trying to have anybody copycat me or anything. I just want people to feel proud, one, of where they're from, like their culture, right? I think that was like the biggest thing because I've seen a lot of comments online that was like, oh, like it was all cool until like the gangbanging and everything. I'm like, bro, like a lot of the people that
understand the culture.
Yeah, and a lot of people that helped me in my life, bro, like it wouldn't be your orthodox people, bro. Like wouldn't be the people that you stereotypically would consider, you know, likable in that sense. I grew up like with with God, the gospel, and gangbanging, bro. Like that's just being a part of Oakland and Inglewood and Sacramento. Like those are the people that helped me out a lot. And so I was like, bro, that has nothing to do. But also like a lot of my homies was like, bro, we educated too. Don't think like we just like on the street, just dummies. Like we're educated, bro. And like that's what I have to like tell people all the time. Like you see that as social media, like that's okay. But the praise that I got from people, bro, like they was ready to throw me a whole parade in Inglewood just off of that video alone. And so it was just cool just to be around that. And like my impact, that's really what it happened. But like I said, like it took days of stacking up to be prepared for that moment and prepare for that opportunity. But my time at Davis was a great time, bro. Like I came here on a walk-on scholarship at UC Davis for football. And I would tell everybody in the locker room, like, bro, I'm about to do music. And people are like, bro, no, you're not. I'm like, bro, y'all don't understand. Like, I'm about to do music. I'd be singing in the locker room. I would tell them, like, bro, my whole Instagram gonna be blue. Like, I'm gonna do a song with this person. I'm gonna start off real small. I'm gonna do like halftime shows. I'm gonna do the national anthem. But watch, I'm gonna be one of the ones. Then when I started dropping music on my own, a couple people from the team was like, hey, he's kind of good. Then when I started doing like the viral video, they're like, yo, you actually might have a chance. And then when they started seeing me on tour with their favorite artists, it went from he not gonna do it to hey bro, let me get a ticket, bro. So you say you was performing September what? Hey, yeah,
Bet.
we gonna be there. And I was like,
Bet.
bro, like
that's why you got to believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why it's a 10-year plan, not a right now. You know what I'm saying? But I know we running out of time. So if you could do me a favor, bro, if there was some words of wisdom, some wise words that you would want to leave people with, and because I usually ask, my guests on the episodes. I actually forgot to ask my man Funk this last month on episode. But if there was a wise word that you would leave folks with, what would it be?
Dang. I feel like I've always been given like these wise gems from like Snoop, my OGs, and just my family and my mom all the time. There's just so much to pick from. I would probably just say like dang. Let me get a moment for this.
Yeah, no, take your time. Take your time. And what I like to tell people as well sometimes is I always say, like, if you could go back and tell your younger self something, you know what I'm saying? What kind of advice would you give your younger self? Because I like, the whole purpose of, coming up with this concept of Wise Word Wednesdays is because it's meant to just give people information and so that they don't make the same mistakes that we did. You know what I'm saying? They don't make the same mistakes that we did. So that way it's like, hey, my job is to make the life just a little bit easier for you. Because it's like, yo, if I went down that hallway and bumped my leg because it's a little table poking out over there. So don't you bump your leg on that table. Now you're going to get further and you're going to hit your head on a window because it's too low. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like, hey, it's down here.
There's a table
and there's a window. You know what I'm saying? So it's always about dropping gems and giving somebody some information so that way they can get just a little bit further than we are, because we don't want to be no haters. We don't want to say, I'm going to keep all the gems for myself so that way I can just be great, because it's not just about you. It's lonely at the top because you ain't bring nobody with you. You know what I'm saying? So pulling somebody up, you dropping some gems, giving them some information, and you shouldn't be the only person at the top if they're willing to heed your advice. So basically, what would you tell your younger self or somebody else that's young that maybe you would want to tell them, like, hey, look out for this, or do this, or put your heart in this, or whatever it is for you?
I probably would say something like, no matter where you at in life, like, you're not behind. You just becoming, and like you have to understand that like everything takes time. Don't chase anything. Just build yourself up. And failure doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means that you're brave enough to try. Right. I always see the quote everywhere now, because like at first I used to be so like, all right, I've been at this for a while, guy. Like I've been trying to, break the mold. I've been doing 10 shows and I haven't seen a check yet, or I've been doing 12 shows and nobody knows my name. I dropped a whole EP. Like I went through a lot and nothing. But the quote was like, if you knew you were like 10 fails away from success, right, on the 11th try, you got it, would you still try? And I think about that all the time, and so every loss is a lesson. Every setback is a setup for something great, and just know that you're enough who you are, right? And as you keep building yourself, like you might not be enough for somebody, but somebody is gonna be like, you're everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's in the world of like relationships, that's in the worlds of music, career, everything, right? Where somebody might not see your value right away. They're gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, you didn't fit our, our job pool," or "Sorry, you're not what I'm looking for right now in dating," or "Sorry, like this is not what we're looking for with music." You still keep being yourself and keep growing gradually. So when you do get ready to, establish yourself or display your portfolio or get back in the dating world or whatever it may be, you're going to be the perfect fit, the missing puzzle piece for somebody, and they're going to find you for what that is. And your story never ends, bro, just because of a minor setback. Learn how to use every tool to tell your story, because you have a story worth telling. That's my biggest thing. The biggest way to wrap it up, everyone has a story worth telling.
Bro, I love that. I love that. And I'm gonna tell you now, I wrote some of them down, so I'm definitely gonna be using some of them. So when you see that, you be like, "Yeah, that's the wise word right there." Yeah, I got that for Blue for sure.
Man,
Because I think obviously you've been dropping gems throughout this entire conversation, right? Like you talked about your experiences, you talked about your family lineage, which I think is really really dope. The story that you have, I mean, to go from the Jim Jones to the Black Panthers, which are two like almost like dichotomous environments, but they both require followers, people to invest in and believe in what they have. So for you to have both of those, there's people who like don't even have one of those. So you have both of those extreme examples, I think, as representatives to what you can do when you put your mind to something, how far you can take it. And so I think your story is just really dope. And so there's a lot of gems that you drop throughout this, this conversation that I hope people are able to utilize. And again, all of it, like a lot of it wasn't even necessarily like applicable for music. It was just for life. You know what I'm saying? Like the story of your life, a lot of the gems you dropped were just about life, about perseverance, about, being consistent, about following through, about being yourself, about, missing out on an opportunity and it coming back around because you were consistent with. Like all of those things are applicable, not just to the music world. It's applicable to anybody trying to accomplish anything in life. So I definitely think it's dope, man.
That's love, bro. That's love. I appreciate you for just having this platform, bro. Like I said, I've watched it, and I got like notes from like last week, bro. I got notes from like 4 months ago, bro, where I was just watching it because like I said, I always envision so much more for myself, not just for myself, but for my family, my community, bro. Like you said, like it's all about fellowship, right? Whether it's Jim Jones, the Black Panther Party, being around, like everybody wants a sense of belonging, and so I always try to tell myself like, whether I want my music to, or myself, my story, right? Like when people think of me, when people think of Blue, when they think of like, I want them to smile, obviously from that video, but I want them to think of like, what did I do for you? Not like, what did I give out in this world? Like, what did I make you feel? How did I invite you into, part of my life? But I always watched episodes like this. I read self-help books because I'm like, I see a version of myself that just not necessarily has it all together, but like I basically built that from scratch to like really, because I knew I was gonna get there, right? Like when I was in football, I was like watching how to like, get an LLC, how to get this music, how to get your music off the ground, how to distribute it, right? How to write out an email to open up for artists, right? Cool. But when I was watching a lot of the episodes, like I was like, bro, I'm gonna be the head of my household, and part of that means providing financially. So I gotta know how to really invest in myself, right? Or I think one episode you had about like just dating, right? Dating in general. And I was like, bro, I never really looked at it like this, because I always go with this mono definition of what I love you, you love me. But it's not that simple. It's not that simple. You got 50-50 standards. You got people that think it's like Love Island. You got people that date like it's the 50s. So it's like, bruh. Yeah. It's like when I watch not just shows like yours, but shows like yours, like this show specifically, I'm like, yeah, bro, like people need to fire their boss and become their own boss, because every day you look in the mirror, you work for you, bro. Like this is your life. And like, you could be at this job slaving away for 8 hours, but understand this is not your job. Your job is much more than that. Your job is like, my job is a creator. I'm not just bagging your groceries. People just go to work and bag the groceries. I'm gonna bag groceries. I'm gonna start singing. Cause somebody while
Right.
I'm working, they go like, "Hey, you got a book? Hey, I got the show. Take my card. Boom.
Facts. Yo,
Right?
or I'm connected to what's the name? Let me put y'all in
Exactly.
connection. Yeah.
Whatever it is, this is an opportunity. So when I go on this job, and every job that I've ever worked with, people say like, "Bro, you smile. You always have great energy." And I know that my energy is like a currency. So when I'm not at that show, when I'm not at that thing, people are missing out. Like, where's Blue? And I always think to myself, if I never did that thing at the Black Grad, I don't know what I would be doing right now. I would not be on this show right now. It would just wouldn't have aligned at that time. And like I said, it happened all the opportunities happened a whole year after graduation. And so, like I said, I'm just grateful to have people like you. Like I said, I stumbled across your platform. I think somebody else that posted it, like one of our mutuals, and I was just like, dang, bro, like this, I'm gonna check it out. You know what I'm saying? Support another brother, just grinding it out. You know what I'm saying? Because like I want to have that same support, but also like, bro, like these are gems, bro. This is a
Yeah.
wise word of Wednesday. And like I might not have, like I try to set reminders. I'm like, oh shoot, I missed the episode. So I go to the YouTube, I watch the full show, or just like I said, and I'm seeing how it not just one, like you said, an investment. Bro, I was listening to La Russell in 2020. People don't even know that. They just thought I just got up on the stage one day and everything. But I was listening to La Russell in 2020, and then lo and behold, show after show, then show after show. Then I got my offer accepted from his backyard shows. Then it was the invite. So it wasn't just, and that was what, a 4-year investment of me just constantly watching his come up, constantly watching what he put out on his platform, the seeding and everything. Like he had free game Fridays. So seeing that, and now I get to stand beside this dude next stage, and we talking about doing shows and doing songs together. I'm like, greatest $20 I ever spent. Because like I said, I bought one of his hoodies and I was like, I'm gonna support bro. So if I never tuned into your show or never threw a follow, like I don't know what would have happened, but like I'm grateful that I did, and I'm grateful that like I got to have gems. Like I said, I got notes from like episodes from just dating, episodes about financial literacy, episodes about like the president election. So I'm just like, but it's giving me gems of stuff that I never thought I really knew, or stuff that I thought I knew. And it just gave me more to really meditate on, to really think about. And like you just elaborated on things. So I just want to like, to give you your flowers, because I think you're a great journalist, a great host. I think the way you articulate your words and the way you ask questions, and not just you, but the guests that you have on this platform, is just, it goes to show that like obviously you have a divine calling on your life, and you not only just use that for your own self-growth, but you obviously put it back into your community to promote obviously yourself, but to promote just the overall intelligence of our community, of other Black people, and to promote just wealthness. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need in our community. It doesn't have to be monetary wealth, but like intellectual wealth, right? Spiritual wealth, emotional wealth. A lot of people lack that. Like I know a lot of celebrities that have a lot of money, but they're just really illiterate when it comes to emotions. They're really like, their IQ is low. Their spiritual connection to people is just non-existent. And I just love that you have that. Like I said, the way you articulate yourself, the way you provide opportunities for other people, just once again, inauthentically being yourself. And I just appreciate that with FYB and with Wise Words of Wednesday. So just, if you ever get a chance in life where you feel like you like, I just ain't really cracking, or man, why did I even start this? Just think about this conversation. Think about the many lives that you've changed starting it, bro, because it's definitely impactful. It's definitely influential to you. Like you said, you never know who's watching. You're one episode away from just getting people getting to where you got to go, and getting people to where they need to go. Like I said, like Moses never saw the promised land, but he at least started with that one step to guide those people, man. And he had the faith, and he had the community behind him, and you got a community behind you, bro. And just use it because you really do got it. And like I said, you have a divine calling on your life, and you have, like my grandma said, she got a gift of prophecy. I see it on you, bro. The way, like I said, you can articulate yourself. And I know people that have like the studio, and they don't know how to ask questions like you. They don't know how to invite their guests and actually have a conversation. They're just asking these chat GPT questions, and it just feels very rehearsed.
It ain't authentic.
Everything's scripted, and that's what we're missing in today's time. Everything, it just feels like we're always being fed things, but when you actually sit down, that's why we like a Kendrick Lamar. That's why we like a La Russell, because everything's authentic. Everything's not rehearsed. Everything's unorthodox, and that's okay, because that's how life is. That's how life really is. Nothing's really scripted. There's days where I wake up, I'm like, I don't know what I'm about to eat. I don't even know what I'm about to wear. But guess what? The day is gonna happen.
Right.
I'm gonna have the day, but the day not gonna have me. So
Man, I want to say I appreciate you, bro, for real, because I know you told me already that you had tuned into the show, but obviously, you putting it out there on the internet as well too, to be known for other people. I really appreciate it. Oftentimes, people who do the work don't often get the gratification, right? Like, what I mean, sometimes and you just never know how people are feeling. And so I just want to say I appreciate you for paying attention. And I know we had conversations that offline that you had told me, like you showed my work to other people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
People, some prominent folks. And so I appreciate you, and I definitely know we got to do a part two.
Yeah.
We got to do a part two just because like the stuff that you were dissecting, you were going in, and I'm like I feel like obviously we can talk for hours, you and I, like just having conversations. So that's just the way that we are, right? We can have
Yeah.
that dialogue. So like I would love to have you back again. You know what I mean? As another guest to come through, and just keep coming. You know what I mean? On different times, just so that way we can talk about a lot, because there's a lot of gems that you have to give, and I think both of us just talking are going to create even more gems for people about
Yeah.
our experiences in education, coming from you being from me, being from the Bay, you being from the Bay, living in Inglewood and things like that. And I got a homie that whenever I go to LA, I touch down in Inglewood. I hit him up all the time. So
Yeah.
it's just like having our perspectives, and then being young black men that are doing things with their life. I think we have a lot of gems to be able to offer the world. But I want to appreciate you for taking time, out of your busy schedule, stopping the tour to come through and take a detour from the
Yeah.
tour to the
Come
Wise World
on.
Wednesday show. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I appreciate everybody that tuned in, man. Thank you so much. I'm gonna leave you like I typically do. I'm gonna say we fresh, and I love you, and y'all be smooth.
Yes, sir.